Good afternoon, folks. This is Fred Campos, owner of DFW Website Designers. It is Sunday, January the 16th, 2022, and this is your 3 business tips at 3 o'clock in and around 3 minutes. This week, we're in a series called Growing Your Team, where I, as a business owner, share what I've learned from having about 450 small business clients, working with them for the past 10 years. I've watched really great teams grow, and I get some tips from some awesome business owners I want to share with you. This is part 2. We're going to talk today about job details, cross-training, and testing your employees. When it comes to growing a team, you're focusing on the individuals, and you will remember back in episode number 295 when you were hiring team members about having very specific job details. Today, what we're going to talk about, business tip number 1, is talking about writing down their details after they become an employee. What I mean by this is there should be a book on every member of your team of what exactly they do, not only for their own expectations, but for duplication process. If Sally was out sick and it was absolutely critical that her position was filled, Joe should be able to pick up a book of her job details and be able just to pick up where she started and know how to do her job. Now, I know what you're thinking. Small business people, you're like me. We wing it. We'll just fly by the seat of our pants. We don't document everything else. But if you want to grow to the next level, and more importantly, you want to develop your team, once you have your employee in place, you need to write down all the details of their specific job details. What you hired them to do and what they actually do every day is probably not the same thing. And maybe once a quarter, have them review and update a document that lists out their very specific details of how they do it, what tools they use, how they go about it, whether it be from accounting to sales. You should have job details in place. Business tip number 2, if you want to grow your team, I alluded to it just a little bit, it needs to be cross-trained. It's funny, I go to Fellowship Church and they are constantly rearranging the executive pastors into different positions. Somebody that's in charge of this will now be in charge of children's ministry for about a year, and then they'll move on to home teams for about a year, cross-training. In your small business, you yourself, the owner, may wear a bunch of hats, but is your staff cross-trained? Do you have someone in your office that could do accounting if they had to? Do you have someone cross-trained on sales or answering support? These are the type of things I'm thinking about in my business. You need to cross-train your employees, and you can do that from their job detail book. And then last but not least, although it may not be obvious, business tip number 3, you need to test this out. You need to randomly throw your employees for a curve and have them test out, okay, Jill, you're going to run accounting today, and Matt, you're going to go into sales support, and you can use your detail books. This will determine how well the job detail book is done and how well you've done in your cross-training. Again, this sounds like crazy stuff to do, but this is the kind of things that enable you to continue to grow your team, and that's what we're studying this week. Anything I'm learning, I throw the fence to you. All of this stuff I'm learning myself. I want you guys to be awesome. Now go back to sleep.